History by becoming the first ever programme to be allowed to film inside an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Our special report right after this.
Look at that pretty shot out there.
Beautiful day out there.
Day.
Glorious.
Cold though. Welcome back. For many, the festive season is a great chance to have a drink and be merry, but for those who either have a problem with alcohol themselves or live with someone who does, it can be a very difficult time of the year.
Well, in a special report for this morning, we meet a teenager whose mother has battled her addiction for years, and we make history by becoming the first ever programme to be allowed to film inside an Alcoholic Anonymous meeting.
Well, presenter Joanna Abbey went to discover the stories behind the heartache that alcohol can cause.
Alcohol. It has the ability to make some people unwind and others unravel. Having a crippling addiction to booze not only has a devastating effect on the person drinking it, but also for the people close to them. My name is Joanna, and my dad is an alcoholic. My father and I would often appear happy, but behind our smiles was a dark secret. My dad was dependent on alcohol and would drink heavily every day. When I was growing up, his unpredictable behaviour would leave me feeling anxious, ashamed and vulnerable. Today, my dad still battles with alcohol every single day. The only difference is that now, as an adult, I've been able to move out of our family home, block out some really difficult emotions and get on with my life. But what about the 2.6 million children in the UK who are still suffering in silence and living with an alcoholic? 17-year-old Casey is one of those. So Casey, what was it like growing up with an alcoholic man?
It's really difficult because things can change in a second, meaning everything's really good and, you know, life's going as it normally would, you know, family meals, laughs, and then all of a sudden, bang, mum's drunk. It can go from zombie-like to very aggressive to, you know, being totally off this planet, you know, not knowing what's coming out of her mouth. And then all of a sudden she's got super strength, you know, she wants to slam the door and she will take off the handle. I definitely used to blame myself. You know, I used to think, is it that maybe I'm not doing well enough at school? Or maybe, you know, maybe I'm not what she wants me to be. I don't blame her at all. I think, you know, she's the victim of something that has changed her life.
To avoid going back to a destructive home, Casey would often stay late at school. He's now studying at a theatre college and is achieving high grades. But others aren't always as strong and confident as Casey. Children of alcoholics are twice as likely to become alcoholics themselves, 3 times more likely than others to consider suicide, 5 times more likely to develop an eating disorder, and 6 times more likely to witness. I've experienced alcohol through the eyes of a child, and I understand how it's impacted me. But what about people like my dad? How do people become so dependent on booze? I've come to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting to find out. We've been given exclusive access to one of the 5,000 AA groups that meet each week in the UK. It's the first time ever they've allowed cameras to film, and we've been given permission only on the basis that we don't identify any of the members. Anonymity is crucial here, as it gives people the confidence to open up and be honest about their addiction. It means that once I step into the room, my identity has to be hidden too.
My name's Christina, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, I'm Sid, I'm alcoholic.
My name's Amy and I'm alcoholic. I had no idea how emotionally sick I was.
It's a killing illness. Before it kills you, it sends you mad.
My marriage fell apart, that was the first thing to go. Then my driving licence, maybe because I was a drunk mother.
We've got bank robbers in here. We've got bank managers, bakers, doctors, you know, nurses. All creeds, all colour, different religions. But we're all the same, you know, we all have the same illness.
I was a fall-down drunk. Wherever I fell down, that's where I stayed until I come out of the blackout, you know.
I'm an alcoholic. They didn't make me an alcoholic, but they certainly showed me how to drink. I have got choices here. I can either carry on drinking and end up dead like my parents, or I can go to AA and live.
My life has changed because I've got friends today. The end of my drinking, I had no friends left.
For me, I believe that it saved my life. I'll be 7 years sober next week.
So that was a really eye-opening experience, listening to everybody's stories made me realise that alcoholics, including my dad, are victims. They can't be punished any more than they're punishing themselves. And I think that we need to understand that this is an illness. They need our support and we need to help them.
That's brilliant, thank you. This is the subject of our phone in today. Are you concerned about the amount you drink? Maybe you're a stressed out mum and wine o'clock has started to come earlier in the day.
Or do you feel like you can't function without a drink and find it hard to stop once you start? Or you're worried about a friend or family member's drinking habits? Agony aunt Deirdre Sanders will be taking your calls a little bit later on, and she's going to be talking about alcohol dependency and addiction.
Well, Deirdre, the stereotypical alcoholic doesn't really exist these days. This affects people from all walks of life, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I mean, it has affected me because my mum was an alcoholic, and so I grew up in that sort of home that was badly affected by alcohol, and she was actually working very hard as a teacher at the same time. So we really need to break down those stereotypes and just think about in terms of problem drinking, and it could be affecting your relationship, it could be affecting your family, your parents, or maybe it's your own alcohol habit you're worried about. It's just creeping up. You're not maybe full-scale alcoholic, but you realise you're drinking more than you did and it is beginning to affect you. We're here to take your calls.
Thank you, Deirdre. Give us a call, 08000 30 40 44. Calls are free from all consumer landlines and mobile phones. You can also email us this morning at itv.com. We'll need your emails by 11:30 today, and you must be 18 or over.
Right, in just a moment, Martin Lewis brings us up to speed with your rights.